and this is my trade recap for this past week. So from Monday to 13th, all the way to the 24th. No, the 13th to the 17th. So Monday was this entire week was just a trend day, a bull trend, and so Friday was a trading range, and Thursday was uh, bull trend in the trading range. So Friday continued the trading range, and the weekend gap was a big gap down. So the first objective was to fill this vacuum, which we did, and then we chopped up. It's sort of parabolic wedge and then a wedge here. Not really a wedge on this one, but there is a first entry outside bar, a decent long setup, because of purely bar 11, right? It's outside large tone and bottom, micro double bottom, but I did not take that, and I took a loss on this trade. Uh, this area in general, from I'd say bar 7 to bar like 30, it looked like a pretty weak bull trend. I thought we would probably retest the lows, retest the high of Globex, the weekend gap, because we had like a lower high here. I took a short, but I did not see that we had three pushes down already. So instantly reversed. Um, yeah, so it's pretty unfortunate. So this was a loss because I was going for some sort of second leg down, even though we've had three pushes down. And so we broke out of the trading range. Uh, Essentially did like a measure move of the trading range from, let's say, data trading range was, yeah, like basically a measure move. And so there's a bull breakout and parabolic wedge from bar 35 to 38. And we chopped up. The range decreased a lot, and I ended up taking a first entry long, but was just going for very little points because I did not believe we would go any higher, but the market just kept pumping. So this was I did take a break even for essentially short right here, but I instantly reversed my position because I did just ended up taking the first entry long. And we're just so bullish overall. It's just hard to take any shorts except for scalps. And moving on to Tuesday, the opening range, 3 bars, another gap up. And Tuesday was a strong bull trend. So it did not look weak, unlike Monday. There was very little bearish activity for the entire midday. We pulled back and could have taken any of these bars, to be honest, for first entry confirmation setup. I ended up taking this first entry with a larger pullback, and I targeted a leg. So there's different ways to, I guess, to calculate your targets. You could have done some sort of leg. So depends how you measure, but this would have been a little too much for my liking. I think measure moves in general, I think, are fairly arbitrary. It's just a way to, I guess, standardized profit taking. But yeah, that's probably how I measured it. Um, doesn't really count, to be honest. A better way would have been measuring the range, so opening range. Um, the true opening range would have been to bar 18. That's how you actually measure opening range. So if you take this and you measure it like if you measure to the high of bar 18, right? The low of the day, the low of the bar 18. So bars 1 to bar 18, you take the high in that and you expand. And obviously eventually like it would be hit right by the next day. But yeah. So sorry, that was a tangent. As for Tuesday, I just I was always in long, so I took small buys on the close of a lot of these candles, and I ended up taking profits, a pretty good profit for 337 on my Tradeify, and then we had a bear surprise. So there was a wedge here. You could see price stalling with a lower high, second entry short, first entry short realistically, and you could have taken a short here earlier, right? But there was support with these two lows, double bottom. Then we did break out, and this was a loser. So I think for this trade, my main lesson is to understand that yes, this three micro channel, bearish micro channel, does deserve a second leg at the EMA, correct, right? And so that's what I took. But because bar 63 was so large of a signal bar, and I bought the close at 63, the room I had, the room I had was very minimal. Like we could have pushed all the way down to my target, but a smaller second leg is also just as valid because we're such in such a strong uptrend. And so yes, even though we had a nice signal bar, we had EMA, right? We had a about 50% pullback. The signal bar meant that I was essentially late to the move. And so even though a second leg did occur, which was ultimately the goal, I have to understand that my expectations cannot be a full measure move of this leg. So it cannot be from here to here, right? And like down here, right? Like the second leg could be tiny, like for example, today, right? It was a lower high, I mean higher low, double bottom. And the moment you see like the close of bar 66, you have to get out, right? Like the market has reversed. This was a false breakout, right? The second entry would trigger for a major trend reversal, and you would have to go long since we are in a trading range after a bull spike. And so that was the lesson for today. And moving on to Wednesday, I did take a lot of trades on Wednesday, and I think I learned some lessons. We chopped around with large, but it's hard to sell bar three realistically because we were still above EMA, right? And so we moved up, and there was just a 2 hour reversal entering on the close, and I ended up going break even because for one, two, three, for 5 bars we did chop around, and I did see like a one push, second push, third push, so there's some sort of wedge forming. So I wasn't sure how confident the measure move would be hit of the opening range, but in hindsight, right, I should have held, but again, conservative capital is important. This was a pretty bad trade, selling some sort of first entry, or not even a first entry, just selling the highs. We had a wedge. There was price stalling 23, 22, 23, 24. No follow through for bar 21 breakout, right? So there's just trying to even buy up here was just not a very smart move. And yeah, and there was this double bottom, sort of first entry, and I fell a breakout, 36 reversal bar at a first entry. So you could have taken this first entry, would have been pretty decent. It's a 3 bar macro channel with a nice looking 38 signal bar and paired with 36. Failed breakout, pretty valid. But I did not take that, and because I just wasn't on the charts, and we had three a large push down, and again, same as the other day, I went for some sort of second leg, but it was so compressed, right? You can This is first push, second push down. Obviously, on a 3 minute, the legs are a little more clear, but regardless, right? We're still in a trading range, and selling the low with the support of the opening range high, right, is just not a very good idea. So this is a failed breakout, second entry, pretty valid to essentially reverse your position on the trigger of the first entry, second entry high at 42. And yeah, I just should have reversed my position. I should have reversed my position. I should have took small profits. Yeah, just in a trading range after a bear trend, or in general, it's especially in the context of a very high time frame bull trend, should not be selling that low. And so after that, I was like, okay, maybe I should sell higher then, right? So uh we did clear the magnet bar 35, and we had a first entry, second entry long, lower high. So I entered pretty early though on a first entry, and obviously I wasn't targeting down here, but probably my targets realistically would have been like a 1 to 1.5 R. But Uh, evidently, bar 55 was a news candle, some sort of war news, and yeah, like it just didn't work out. instantly stopped that. So I reversed my position and I recovered my losses. And we just kept pumping higher and higher. And for Thursday, a lot of trades too. Not very happy with the amount of trades I'm taking. But regardless, it was a green day. Yeah, so trading range, so we kind of resumed flat EMA. So we pushed down and you have a nice 50%-ish retracement with decent risk reward. Bar's not too big, decent signal. Yeah, so taking the first entry short would have been pretty decent. But that's it. So one push, second push, third push. It's not, even though it's not a wedge, it's still technically three pushes. And we broke out outside bar, bar 15. So buying to close is a pretty good option around at this price, but I missed it. So I took the first pullback for essentially long, and I took a pretty good scalp. I did not expect price to go all the way up here because there was some resistance. Obviously, the high of the day was the first candle, but we did go up for a push. And we had another first entry, which I did end up taking a quick push within one candle, and then we pushed up again. So I think the best trade was probably to close at bar 15 or this first entry, triggering on bar 19. And this one was not as good. And so we formed a wedge and we had a failed breakout for first entry short. Looks pretty similar to that other day with the failed breakout for such a short, right? The rebar macro channel. And after the rebar macro channel, we did have a second and then a third leg, right? So still very bullish week in general. So taking shorts is just a hard thing to do. But I did catch a breakout, sort of FOMO trade, right? So we pushed down again. And so at the time I was trying a wedge from here. So we had first push, second push, third push down. So I took a long to close a bar, bar 47, right? Very nice reversal bar, big. However, the lesson for this losing trade was to manage my trade. So I took this trade and I just left it alone, expecting it to hit. However, we reversed pretty hard, and I had two chances essentially with bar 55 and 56 to get out break even, but I did not because I wasn't managing the trade, and I took a loss when I probably should have got a break even or some sort of partial profits, right? And so yeah, the lesson here is to manage your trade. I did was in my favor temporarily, and I just did not preserve my capital. And so we had a wedge here and then a wedge here, parabolic wedge, sort of, right here. It's a pretty tight channel, so you have to be careful. But I did, I guess, catch this percentage long for decent scalp. And I entered again on a first entry, but I got a break even because I just had flashbacks of markets just doing weird things at the end of the day, especially with it being like an FOMC day, essentially every day. So I did not want to get cooked by news. And I was green, so I just took it out break even for this trade. And 17 was a large gap up. So this is the Friday. Nice signal bar, close of 11. Could go long here, but it's pretty overextended. So much room for EMA. So the trade in reality is not that good. It's just more like buying a close of 6 and 7 or even bar 5. These are better ideas than buying this pullback because uh, you could foresee it pushing down to like a retracement, like 50%, instead of going higher from bar 11. So this is not that good of a trade. Probably would be buying the closes of 5, 6, right? Would have been better. But a first entry long, second entry, two legs, visual would be a good setup. Yeah, so this would have been a good buy. And then the range really tightened and we got a breakout. And after the breakout, we had first entry short, right? And taking shorts here is hard. And the range is tight. There's no good signal bar. There's no wedge yet. So in general, I would avoid this entire time frame, right? From bar 30 to like bar 44. Should have avoided. And a common trend in the last like basically every day of the past week was that we have a spike into a channel into the trading range with a bullet, a bearish surprise. Like this sort of bearish surprise you saw right here, and we kind of saw right here, and then we saw right here. So every single day except Monday, right? And so for Friday, I took one trade, which was this micro double top for essentially short, a 50% retracement to EMA, and there was pretty good room to go down. I went for 3R. Could have went down more, but obviously, I learned my lesson from the past trades. The legs are oftentimes much smaller, especially since we're kind of going counter trend in this trading range from a bull spike. Yeah, took this trade, and we had a one push, second push, third push down. We have a wedge here too. So could have, I guess, took longs here, but no great signal bar, and the range tightened a lot, so harder to take trades at the end of the day. But yeah, that's it. Thank you.